Jackson continued to struggle over Mark's broad shoulder as he descended the stairs into the basement. Mark's strength infuriated him. He was usually really good at escaping, but Mark had him by the hip bones. The basement was too dark for Jack to see anything. Mark, however, seemed to know his way around. Mark carried him deep into the room before stopping and flipping him off of his shoulder. Jack gasped in shock from fear of not knowing that he would land on a large bed. While Jack caught his breath, Mark's hands gripped his jaw, saying in a deep, serious voice, "Stay." Jack couldn't help it. It just slipped out. "And if I don't?" Jack could barely see Mark's outline, although he could feel Mark's fingers dig into his skin. Mark wouldn't really hurt him, would he? Mark released him, waffling through something off to Jack's left. Jack felt weird all of a sudden, uncomfortable. Slowly, he shifted his weight off the bed, trying his best not to make a single sound. He had just managed to completely rise off the bed when a match was struck to life. For a brief second, Mark's eyes locked with his in the eerie candlelight. Mark smiled wickedly before blowing out the match in one breath. Jack cursed, turning to quickly head for the door, when he felt strong arms wrap around his waist, pulling him from another side of the room to another side of the room, where Jack was shoved against the wall and Mark forced his wrist above his head. Cuffing his wrist to keep him there, making sure Jack couldn't get out of them, Mark pressed his warm lips to Jack's ear, whispering softly, "I knew you wouldn't listen." Mark then lifted Jack to start lighting candles, illuminating the large four-poster bed in a sinister light. They didn't do much for the rest of the room, though. Jack twisted his wrist into handcuffs, trying to slip out. Mark glanced at him every now and then to check on him, until he told Jack softly, "Come on, Jack, don't you trust me?" Jack chuckled, replying, "No." Mark moved a small cot closer to Jack, telling him casually, "If you weren't curious, you wouldn't have asked about this place. Now will you listen or not?" Jack stared down Mark with narrowed eyes, smiling as he shook his head. He couldn't let Mark have that much power over him. Mark shrugged carelessly, then picked something off his small cot. Jack rested his head back against the wall as Mark unsheathed a bowie knife. Mark approached closer, pointing the tip towards him, stirring, telling him, "Don't move." Jack didn't have the guts to obey this one. Watching the candlelight glint off the silver blade, he watched Mark begin to trace the collar of his shirt with it. Clenching his jaw, Jack watched Mark pull the collar of his shirt away from his skin, then slowly slid the blade through it like a hot knife through butter, cutting his poor t-shirt away and exposing his pale torso. When his shirt was nothing but scraps, Mark returned the blade back to the cot. Next, Mark grabbed the hem of his own shirt and pulled it over his head. Jack bit his lip, watching Mark's muscles flex as he removed it. Mark then returned his cot, removing a black tie that he draped around his own neck. It seemed unusual, but gave Mark a powerful look, especially as he stood there shirtless, his black jeans slightly hanging off his hips. Mark then picked up a tube of something, telling him casually, "It's only fair to tell you, the more you disobey, the more I'll punish you. For everything you do to my liking, I'll reward you." Jack rolled his eyes, smugly snapping back, "Reward me? Sure. It's not that I don't believe you, but I don't believe you, Mark." Mark stepped closer, saying in a low voice, "I'll prove it." if you comply? Curiosity got the better of him, and he nodded. Mark relieved Jack's wrist from the cuff, pointing to the bed as he added, "Lay down on the bed then." Jack rubbed his wrist, slowly moving towards the bed. He couldn't help feeling like Mark could be fucking with him, but he crawled over the bed anyway. Laying back across it, Jack put his hands behind his head, returning back smugly. "Well?" Mark climbed slowly over him, but was careful not to touch any part of him. Slowly, Mark pulled a tie off his neck and gently tied it around Jack's eyes. Jack thought again about disobeying, but was curious to see where this was going. Now that Jack couldn't see, Mark told him calmly, "Good, now open your mouth." Jack reluctantly parted his lips only slightly. Mark's warm thumb lightly pressed down on his lower lip in order to open his mouth wider. Next, Mark lightly slid his thumb in to slide it over Jack's retreating tongue, adding smoothly, "Give me your tongue, Jack-a-boy." Very hesitant, Jack extended his tongue past his lips. This time, when Jack felt Mark's thumb slide across his tongue, he tasted something being spread over it, something light and sweet. He couldn't recognize what it was, but wanted more. Reaching out, Jack grabbed Mark's wrist and leaned in to take Mark's thumb between his teeth. When Mark didn't resist, Jack slowly took Mark's thumb further into his mouth to suck and let off every trace of the sweetness. Even when he knew it was gone, Jack continued to make a show of teasing Mark and the hopes for more. Mark had to force him back down to the mattress, telling him happily, "Very good, Jack, as promised." Jack opened his mouth, expecting Mark to give it to him the same way as before. Only this time, Jack tasted it on Mark's tongue as it slid into his mouth. Now Jack recognized the taste. Cake frosting! Mark teased Jack by keeping his frosted tongue away in order to prolong the kiss. When Mark had felt Jack had kissed him passionately enough, he let Jack practically suck his tongue dry. Jack reached up, wanting to touch Mark's muscular back, but Mark grabbed his wrist and pinned him above Jack's head. As Mark shifted to pin Jack's other wrist above his head too, he spoke huskily against Jack's lips. "You're a slave. You can't touch me until I say so, Jack." To be continued.